What's up, guys? Garrett and Andy back from Sheer Drop Wrestling. We are back after, God, I don't know, almost a month?
Yeah, a month
3
hiatus.
weeks, I think, is the last upload date. So we apologize about that. Life's just been a little hectic here and there. I've been driving around. I've been having to go to meetings. I've been having to cover, like, my manager's shifts and stuff like that. It's been a whirlwind. I haven't even had a chance to watch Raw in, like, the last 2 or 3 weeks. But we're back. We're going to hopefully stay on this little bit of a hot streak we had going for a second there. So, of course, we're going to be talking about some WWE Monday Night Raw. Andy, how are we doing?
Good. Just been trying to keep up with Raw as I can in the craziness of the season and upcoming season.
So, the only thoughts we shared with each other before we went live are, I thought Raw was pretty good. Yeah, me too. And we haven't actually discussed anything beyond that. So, really curious to see how everything plays out, all of our thoughts going into things. What I can tell you I am excited for, specifically, is WarGames. We finally got the announcement. It was heavily rumored that, they're going to keep the WarGames trend for Survivor Series going on. I know that there's some diehards that still like the brand supremacy and do the whole SmackDown versus Raw thing. Personally, it's not for me. That was like all Survivor Series was for the longest time, and then as they introduced WarGames into it through NXT, and then they brought it to main roster, it's like, okay, never go back to brand supremacy. This is perfect. I know you're a big proponent of the WarGames match.
No, it's terrible. Worst match ever, dude. Awful.
How excited are you now for Survivor Series?
I'm very excited for Survivor Series.
Especially because we're getting, I guess we can just talk about the main event, because it felt more of a way to peddle Survivor Series than it actually was like a real match. So the main event of the evening was the Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn match for the World Heavyweight Championship, which kind of kicked off the night. So, kind of bookended by Sami and Seth, where basically Seth comes out and he wants to thank two people, Drew McIntyre for various reasons, and then Sami for saving the cash in, because he said he wasn't sure if he could have beaten Damian there. He's like, maybe I could have, maybe I couldn't have. And to repay Sami, Seth said he went to Pierce and got a match cleared, and Sami, all he has to do is just name a time and a place, and he gets a title shot. So Sami says, how about tonight? So that's our main event. Seth Rollins wins, if you could believe that. And then after the match...
No way.
I know.
Dude, spoilers.
It's okay, we're in the 24-hour window. It's fine. But after the match... they shake hands. Sami's walking back up the ramp. Mm-hmm. Judgment Day come out, beat the tar out of Sami. Seth gets involved. Then Jay comes out. Then Cody comes out. And then...
Well, of course, we have to have Cody Rhodes' music hit and him come out at some point during a Raw episode.
Oh, yeah.
It just has to happen, man.
I know, he didn't have his interview in the middle of, the ramp this week. Maybe he did last week. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched in, a month.
His hands were a little busy having interviews with other people's faces, specifically Judgment Day.
Ah, gotcha. But so the whole locker room of security and the referees come out. I always like when they bring the referees out to try and stop a fight and stuff like that. It's what are they gonna do? Pierce puts on his big boy voice and says, if everyone wants to play games, how about at Survivor Series, we play war games, or something to that extent. So I'm geeked. I love the war game stipulation. I know it's just big cage, but big cage make people do big dumb. And
exactly.
Very excited.
Exactly. That's the important thing.
We need EO in a trash can spot again.
Please.
But, another takeaway is that right now it is 4v4, and Survivor Series traditionally is slated as a 5v5, which means, theoretically, there's some vacant spots that need to be filled. Any premature guesses?
I mean, on the side of Judgment Day, I could very well see it being J.D. McFunko. Well, no, he would be 4.
He'd be 4.
Yeah, what am I thinking?
That's that's what I thought at first too, and then I'm like, oh,
yeah, like wait, hold on a minute.
Unless it's Rhea, but she has a match already, so it wouldn't be. I'd pop for that though.
Yeah, same, dude. Well, I mean, maybe we are going to get like some reveal that Drew's been talked into joining Judgment Day or something.
I just don't know who else it could be. I mean, it's so early to tell right now.
Bronson Reed. I don't know.
Because then you have that whole because if Drew joins, is he gonna want Damian to be champion? No, because Drew wants to be champion. So I don't think that'll work out.
Yeah.
So for the bad guy side, I'm actually kind of stumped, just thinking off the dome of people that could take the side of Judgment Day.
Shinsuke. Hear me out. 5th person on good guy's side. Seth. Shinsuke comes back.
Wasn't Seth already on the good guy side?
Is he? I guess he would be, yeah. Well, because I was just thinking it'd be like KO, Sammy, Cody, Jay.
I could see the 5th guy being KO, but Seth was involved in that whole...
He was involved in the whole skirmish after his match, so yeah, I suppose he would be involved in it. Taking a break and my brain's turned to mush, man.
You're good. Maybe Jimmy for the bad guys?
But yeah, I see no reason that they could just have, literally anyone from either side.
Fuck it, they get Roman. Have him show up to Survivor Series.
Who's going to be the 5th person on their side? Roman music hits.
The place would go crazy.
It would
only for the 5th person on the judge or on the good guys team to be like fucking CM Punk or something. Apparently the talks have dropped out and stuff, but I wore my AFI shirt just in case. So we're on the countdown to a Punk series.
Yeah, I
kind of hope he never comes back personally, but
I mean, same here. But whenever I was looking up to double check the start time of Survivor Series, it was Punk holding a WWE mic was the first image that came up.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we do have a lot of show to talk about tonight, so we'll get started. So they started with a pretty cool recap of Crown Jewel. I'm still morally not a big fan of the Saudi shows and that whole deal that they've run. I know that they leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. They rub people the wrong way. But I guess just in a vacuum, the show looked pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to catch it. But by all accounts, it just seemed to be a very serviceable, very just, here was one of the Saudi shows. Logan Paul, new United States champion. I'm so mad that he's so good at professional wrestling. I hate that man.
He has he has my respect because he's good. He puts in the work. He does. I loathe him.
That's the worst part. Entirely. Is that he puts in the work.
Why does he have to be so good, man?
It's not fair.
No, yeah, I chose not to watch it, as I kind of just typically do with most of the Saudi shows. Though, the supercut was really nice.
Yeah. I don't know if that's all that we needed to take out of the event. Then like, cool, we got the experience.
I don't know. I don't think they've done anything like that for other pay-per-views, right?
Like the mega recaps.
Yeah, like the supercut of just
I know that they'll do like the highlight packages for like some of the other stuff, but that felt like a very, very long recap.
Yeah, it felt like a well put together recap supercut of here's quick like shot of an entrance for each person, couple highlights from the match, and then the end of the match. And I don't know, it just was really well put together. I enjoyed it. Only reason I wish I would have been watching the show is during Io's match.
Yeah.
Because Kairi Sane made her return, and I'm so excited for that.
It's nature's healing,
It is.
It's healing.
We're possibly on the route to a better timeline now.
We are. And now, allegedly, they're in talks to get Julia. Like, there was a rumor that she was supposed to go to the Performance Center, but then it turns out that, like, she's still with Stardom until, like, March or something like that. So, like, the timeline of her showing up to the PC and her also not having a contract don't seem to line up, and it's one of those, like, I don't know which report is, like,
to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of, like, ambiguity in the, I hate saying, like, the dirt sheet world, but the journalism side of professional wrestling. There's been a lot of reports that have come out that a lot of people are just running with in a bunch of different directions. But that'll be absolutely wild if, like, WWE can land Julia. Just because it would also make, like, a ton of people mad and stuff. But, like, she's genuinely one of the best wrestlers, full stop, like, active right now.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got Seth Rollins to open up the night. We get the generic Monday Night Rollins, I am a visionary, blah, 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 I'm your champion. And then the thanking the two people, thanking McIntyre, thanking Zayn. He says he wants Sammy to come out so he can say something to him in person. And before he's able to do that, Sammy basically, like, cuts him off and is like, hey, whatever you're going to say, just let me say something real quick. And Sammy says that while he didn't mind helping Seth out, it wasn't, like, completely altruistic, Sammy's intentions. He didn't do it for, like, the betterment of Seth. He did it for the betterment of the roster. And he says the exact same thing that McIntyre said, but people, like, shunned McIntyre for this. But now it's like, because Sami Zayn says it, it's an okay thing. Where that title not being around a member of the Judgment Day is the only thing that's keeping Raw from turning into, like, Bloodline 2.0, just under a new set of paint, like a new coat of paint. I'm like, isn't that the exact same thing that McIntyre said, like, a month ago? And people were like, man, why are you always so negative?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got it as a viewer. I was like, yeah, he's got a good point there,
There's no ambiguity in the world of professional wrestling. You're either smiley babyface or dastardly person. But, Sammy, he's a little hesitant to accept Seth's challenge at first. He says, I don't want to... He's like, when I win this title, it's not going to be like an if Sami Zayn is ever World Heavyweight Champion. It is when Sami Zayn is World Heavyweight Champion. He doesn't want to, I think, what was it? He said he doesn't want to take it off of a champion who's compromised.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the words that he used.
Seth doesn't like that very much. So he kind of snaps back and he asks Sammy, like, oh, are you 100% either? Or like, are you 100%? He's like, people like you and I, we're never 100%, but that doesn't mean that we don't give 100%. And then Sammy's like, fuck you, I'll face you tonight then. It's like, okay. Seth's getting a little snarky with all these people like, I don't want to hurt you. And he's like, pussy. Like, okay, I'll fight you.
I mean, like in from a perspective of like not within wrestling, clearly if he wasn't good to wrestle, if he wasn't good to compete, things were of a concern more so than other people. They'd pull him from it. He'd step down. He'd lose the belt somewhere.
Not to derail you.
Yeah, sorry.
But the whole Bryan Danielson injury that's going around right now happened because they let him wrestle knowing full well he had a broken orbital bone going into a match. And they still cleared him, like, under the table. So, I mean...
Well...
Sometimes wrestlers don't know what's best for themselves.
Seth know what's best for himself? Yeah, I could see him not knowing that. Nah, he said I can't do it. That means I gotta do it.
The doctor said I'm pussy. But no, I don't think it's like to the point where he'd have to willingly, or not even willingly, like vacate the title and stuff like that. So I think it's just, melodrama for the sake of the story.
I do hope that, if we're going anywhere with this and Seth loses the belt, his back finally gave out, whatever, he does seek whatever help he needs to make sure that, it's fixed, things are good, all that. But
which it also just like begs the question of how long are they going to keep the whole like ow my back story? Because like if this goes on for another 9 months, it's like I don't
it's
think his back was ever bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I'm going to call him a liar.
Yeah,
I don't think that graph tape serves any purpose.
That's why. I don't know. I hope that they pull the trigger on it soon, within the next couple months, maybe beginning of next year or something. Because, like you said, the longer they go with this whole "ow my back," the less and less believable it becomes, especially when the man
dead.
Yeah, he's been in a last man standing match with some dude who was purposefully trying to go after his back at every chance he got.
It's starting to run its course a little.
Yeah,
it was a good idea at first. It helped establish Shinsuke, but now it's like, bro, drop it.
Yeah,
the title.
Don't get me wrong. I like seeing Seth the champ. He's got the stuff, great on the mic, always has been, I feel. But, nah, if they're going anywhere with it, they either need to pull the trigger or be like, I haven't been around for a month. Suddenly my back's better.
Whoa.
Or they just
a good story to start running, like, when they had someone in mind for him to drop it to.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll drop it to, like, the next credible person that, like... Because if he's not going to be defending at Survivor Series, that would be either TLC in December if they keep that, or the next big show would be Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. They do title changes at the Rumble. That's where John Cena beat Styles. So it's definitely possible for like world championships to switch at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see. But so that's our main event, and we'll do a little more play-by-play later on. But we go to Judgment Day. They're in their little like Judgment Day cave, lair, fortress, whatever you want to call it.
I'm convinced they just have a set of boxes that they just set up, and they're just like, all right, here's your little Judgment Day cave
the road
for the
cases.
night.
Like, you guys have 15 minutes. We're gonna shoot in 5.
Yeah.
But Dominic still calls his dad his deadbeat dad. And that's been going on for like a year and a half now. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. There's one good thing that Dom gives us.
Yes. Priest is big mad about how the weekend went and having to go to Adam Pearce to get his briefcase back. Then I guess JD just catches a stray because he's wearing a Damian Priest shirt and he's like, "Did you even buy that?" Implying that like JD would just like take it or something.
Just from his closet, yeah.
But he says something, I didn't quite make it out or whatever, but he and Finn, I had it in my notes originally, like he and Finn just saunter off somewhere to like go be moody. And then it turns out their match with the New Day was literally up next. So it's like, oh, they are in kayfabe and probably in actuality going to Gorilla to get ready for the match.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had said something about, we gotta go teach the New Day a lesson or whatever.
Gotcha. Like, boy, they like left really quick. And then the New Day are literally coming out. And I was like, oh. So we got New Day and Judgment Day. I like that, I guess in kayfabe, this match was brought on solely by the fact that Woods and Kofi dressed up as the Judgment Day for Halloween. The new Judgment Day.
Yes.
And then, of course, Damian and Finn are like, it's not a phase. And then they thought about it.
I especially liked touching on their costume a little bit, I especially liked the takeout box.
Yes.
Money in the Bank case.
Very, very good touch. I don't have a whole lot about the match. I don't have a whole lot of play-by-play. I just kind of have a little bit of notes on like the finish. Were there any like good spots that stood out to you?
If I could type, I just think it's always neat seeing the New Day do their tandem offense that they do, because I have yet to realize whether it's the same thing or just a variation of what it is. They always they run around dudes, make their heads spin and get some good hits in there, and it's always just really neat seeing them do that.
There was... Oh, no, I'm thinking of something later on in the night. I was like, oh, there was this cool spot. And I'm like, no, there wasn't.
There was, sorry.
You're good.
I think it was this match. One sec. Yeah, I think it was this match. My notes are a little messed up. Kofi kind of recovered from trying to dive outside of the ring and just ended up doing a backflip off the top rope. Or was that somebody else later in the night? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if that's something that happened.
It sounds plausible.
Oh no, that was in a later match. Darn.
Match? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a plausible deniability that it wasn't Kofi.
Yeah.
But so a little bit of a scuffle happens. Finn is doing going for something on the ropes, maybe the stomp, who knows. He gets crotched, and then Damian accidentally runs into him, knocks him off, and or no, I forget which way Finn falls, but eventually Finn gets pinned, and it gets broken up by Damian. And then just Woods eats the South of Heaven and the coup de grace, or the coup de grace, the double stomp.
Yeah. That was also after...
So he's like super dead.
Oh, yeah. I think... Was that after or before JD had gotten a hit on him while the ref was distracted?
Oh, I missed that. That was probably what led up to that. I might have like looked down and like taken a note or something.
Yeah, it was very, very quick. The ref was distracted by something going on, I guess towards the ring, and Xavier was hanging off of the middle rope. JD came up, got a good, it was either like a super punch or just kick in on him, and then that's whenever they pulled him back in and hit the finishers and got the pin.
Gotcha. Okay. The picture's a little clearer. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty normal tag match. It feels like we get this. I don't know if it's just because the New Day we're doing a lot of like not even really like running interference. It feels like we've gotten the New Day and the Judgment Day a lot recently, and I don't think we have because the New Day was in the thing with like the Viking Raiders. But it just feels like these like two teams have like fought each other a lot.
It does.
And I don't know if I'm making that up or
trying to think of who, because New Day had a match, a couple weeks ago? Month ago? Yeah, I don't know. You might be right. We might just be
gaslighting myself right now.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know if we're just gaslighting ourselves.
Alternate universe Raw right now, or
we need something Royal Farms.
God, yeah, that's a story. So after the match, we cut to the parking lot. It's Drew McIntyre. He gets out of a car. He gets back in the car. And then he drives away. That's it. That's the interview. Obviously, I think it's Jackie is just trying to get out of him like, how are you feeling? You lost. How does it feel to be a loser? And then he just gets back in the car and drives away. Like, that's fair. I'd do the same thing, honestly.
Yep.
And I believe that is the only time we see McIntyre all night.
Yeah, man rolled up to the show to hop out of his car, stare at a camera for 5 seconds, and then hop back and just...
They flew him to Pennsylvania just to do that.
I mean... you're going to pay me and pay for my flight probably too. I'll fly somewhere and hop out of a car.
They don't do that.
Oh, okay.
The whole independent contractor thing, you are on your own for transportation and stuff like that. Unless it turns out he secretly signed like a new deal or something and like negotiated that, but probably not. The joys of being the independent contractors. And
maybe he just wanted to go to PA. So maybe he just wanted to go to PA.
He heard they were doing the like the prime rib and catering, and he's like, "Hey, is there any way I can get on this show?" And they're like,
"Yeah, sure, we'll throw you in for a little bit."
It's like, cool. I don't know why I went like Finn accent there, trying to do Drew. Went full Irish.
That's close enough, right?
Yeah, they're the same thing, aren't they? So this match, the one up next, we got the Nakamura and Tozawa match. I was so excited because they actually let Akira Tozawa do something.
Yeah.
For like the first time in ever, they actually let him do something.
Man's been signed to WWE 7 years, I think they said.
7 years that he's been in the States. I don't know if they scooped him up straight from... God, where'd he come from? I want to say Dragon Gate. I don't know if that's correct or not. Yeah, but I don't know if that's been his whole tenure in the WWE or not. But let's hope the whole like Alpha Academy thing really helps him out, and he's actually able, because he's always been able to do the comedy stuff.
Oh yeah,
just because of the fact that he is on the smaller side and has an accent, and English is his second language, and that to like the powers that be screams comedy gimmick, because no one can take him seriously. But like, dude can go, and I've been waiting for this for so long.
He really can. Like, even in a couple of the, like, I don't know, that squash match I think that he had with Bronson, and a couple of other times that I've seen him in the past, like, few years, he might not have very much time, but he does try to show that he's not just there to, get tossed around.
Yeah, he is absolutely one of those guys that, like, they tell him they have like 4 minutes bell to bell, he is going to make the most of that 4 minutes to not only get his stuff in, but, you know, make the other person look good and stuff like that. He's a very well-rounded performer.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're finally kind of giving him a little more slack on the leash.
Yeah, giving him a bit of a space where he can, you know, have some time, have some space of his own.
They got CM Punk chants during the match. I feel like this is just going to be kind of the... it's not even the elephant in the room, because like WWE leaned into it, or at least if they didn't tell their talent to not lean into it, because Nakamura has been like very openly, or just even everyone else on the roster has been dropping these like
hints,
using certain verbiage, and saying certain things that can only invoke the image of one particular person. And it's gone from anywhere from like Corey's done it to Seth's done it. Nakamura picked up the GTS, and granted, Punk didn't invent the GTS. Like it's a Kenta move, we know that.
Yeah,
most people in the States will know it as a CM Punk move. So like they're really not doing themselves any favors by not letting like everyone know like to not lean into it. They kind of just did it to themselves.
Get your Beppis and your ice cream bar ready.
Get ready to learn the lyrics to Cult of Personality. Shinsuke hits just a Kinshasa for the win. There's a little spot of hope where the first one, Tozawa is able to avoid it, gets a little bit of offense in.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, is he actually going to get like a really sneaky roll up or something? No, he doesn't.
He just gets hit with another one.
He gets hit with another one. But this is the surprising part. Otis gets in the ring, and then Nakamura just like shoos him away, and he just walks away like completely unbothered. So if we're getting Otis, does that mean that like we're getting Gable Nakamura as, I guess, like the peak of the feud? Like Nakamura's just kind of feuding with the Alpha Academy now?
I guess.
That match is gonna fuck if we get it.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
I don't know. I mean, if we get an Otis Shinsuke match, I don't remember if that was announced for the card for next week or not.
It was confirmed later on that we are getting that next week.
So yeah, I guess he's kind of just having like a bit of a feud with Alpha Academy, or Alpha Academy's mad, like trying to feud with him now.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It gets...
I'm never going to complain. Never going to complain about getting to see just about anyone from Alpha Academy or Shinsuke.
No. It gives Gable an opportunity to kind of step into that more serious role. Will he beat Nakamura? I don't know. Are we even going to get Gable Nakamura? I don't know. But if the end goal is to still, hypothetically, get Gable to get the IC belt off Gunther, I have no idea where that stands anymore. They've completely removed him kind of from that like picture, but there's still a lot of time before WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think if they do have a Shinsuke Gable match, it'll probably be, I could see Gable winning it and it kind of being him, building himself back up and all after the loss to, get back up there in contention for that belt.
See, I just want to be there with like 75,000 people, hear the words "and new," and everyone does the thank you.
Yeah.
Peak.
That's great. If that happens, sorry.
I say I'm already pumped for the Cody Woe thing. That's gonna be loud as hell, boy.
Yeah, it is.
We got a Natalia video package, which brings up her Guinness World Records, which commentary seems to like to do a lot. It was weird. She it was only Natalya. Everyone else just got like a backstage interview or something like that in relation to the Battle Royal later on in the night. And Natalya gets this whole like very well edited like vignette. Like, okay, go off.
Well, that's because she didn't get one. What was it, last week? Leading up to the 5-way match. Last week, the other 4 contenders, I think including Rhea even, throughout the night, had gotten little vignettes like that. Of, oh, you know, this is why I'm going to be leaving Crown Jewel with the belt.
Gotcha.
So I guess so like, yeah, we'll give Natty one of those.
And then, so this wasn't even a match. This is just like a throwaway point. But this was one of my favorite parts of the night. It's right before the Fatal 4-Way for the IC contender.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pierce on a screen. He actually goes over why each of these 4 people were picked for the match. You don't get that all the time. It just feels like when someone is like number 1 contender, it just feels like arbitrary. Or if someone gets thrown into a match like, you know, like a Fatal 4-Way, for instance, where it's title contention on the line and stuff like that. And it's like, why is this person here or whatever? What have they done? Pierce actually tells us why every single person is in this match. And it immediately adds more weight because now it feels like these 4 people weren't random selections. They were very premeditated and very sought out picks for this match for the sole purpose of having the best possible person to face Gunther.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool.
And,
I could get used to this.
Yeah, I could too. It'd be really nice, especially for, you know, if anyone misses a week, misses a pay-per-view, doesn't catch something that might be a big win for someone, leading them to contention for the belt. It's a good way to recap that and bring everyone up to speed. Because, you know, there could be one person that everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, of course this person's there, and 3 others, of, as you said, like, who? Why?
Because it feels like a lot of the time, like every multi-person match has like they're getting the pin, they're not going to be involved, they're eating the pin. Like you can kind of pick apart like who's there for each role. But if you actually give each person a reason to be there, then it's like,
Yeah, it really helps. You know, there's moments for those really close pins. Really helps build some tension there and get, you know, help work people with that.
And so going into that Fatal 4-Way, my has no shot of winning pick won. I was not expecting The Miz to win. I don't know if like the signs have been there, because like I said, I've been missing a couple weeks of the TV product. But if you put on paper Miz, Bronson, Ivar, Ricochet in a Fatal 4-Way, and you're like, pick the winner to face Gunther, I'm not picking Miz.
No, I also was... Miz was my pick of eating the pin for this. In the past couple weeks, if I remember correctly, they kind of have been building Miz back up a little bit, of trying to make him, you know, seem... Trying to build it back on the, Miz is trying to get serious now. Whole deal. After the couple, Miz TV segments that have been on Raw of him just kind of getting laughed at by just about everyone he brings on, and then punched.
Good. Good.
Still didn't see it coming at all.
No. But the internet's very divided right now. Half the people are being like, yo, Miz out here shutting up the haters. And other people are like, I can't believe you thought like that was work rate or something. Like, it's like people finally being like, oh, look, the Miz can do all this other stuff. He just doesn't. And then people are like, that's nothing. You shouldn't, like, it doesn't matter. Shut up. You can call me an E-drone, you can call me an AEW hater or whatever. We stand the Miz. He's just good at his job.
He is. He can help make most people look good. He can hold his own as well. Always done well speaking. The dude just gets it. Yeah. He just kind of is there a lot of the time, though.
Yeah. He kind of gives off, like, third player vibe. But, I mean, he's always been a solid hand. There's probably a reason that he's been around for so long and they haven't, like, cut him ever. They see something in him.
Yeah.
But this match I thought was really, really fun. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for even with the botched finish, it might still be my match of the night, just because of like how fun it was with all four people having different interesting matchups with each of the other people involved in the match. The spot that I was thinking of when we were talking about the New Day Judgment Day was when oh my gosh, Miz and Ricochet get like, or no, I can't even read my own notes. I'm dying right now. So it was Ricochet doing like a dive to the outside.
Yeah.
He gets caught, and then they just throw him into Miz.
Yeah, I have that in my notes.
Yeah.
Ricochet was just used as ammo against Miz.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of good stuff. There was the big boy superplex spot.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty sick.
That was sick.
And then they kept cutting back to Gunther watching on TV and stuff like that. And after the big superplex spot, he has this like Cheshire cat grin on his face, and I'm like, that popped him for real.
Yeah.
I bet he's genuinely enjoying this right now as a fan of the product.
It's always nice to get at least what seem like genuine reactions like that from other contenders watching people do their job. Like, oh, wow. Okay, yeah. You know, this is what it just, I don't know, kind of feels like this is why I'm doing this again. Huh. Yeah.
We have that Miz sequence that everyone on the internet is clowning for some reason. I thought it was serviceable. He gets his little crossbody. He gets a float over DDT or a tornado DDT, whichever. And then he does his like, I don't know what the proper name is. It's kind of like a lung blower, but it's not quite a lung blower. But he gets like double knees to the chest on Ricochet in the corner, does a monkey flip, holds, brings him up, and then hits like a DDT off of it all in a sequence. And the crowd is unironically chanting, "Let's go, Miz," at this point. It's like, what universe are we in right now? But we get the finish. It's Ricochet on the mat and Miz on the mat. And Ivar and Bronson are on the top ropes, and they're kind of doing like a anything you can do, I can do better type deal. Mm-hmm. So Ivar goes for his moonsault, and that lands on Ricochet. And then Reed goes for the tsunami, and Miz gets out of the way. Miz pins Bronson, and Ivar, who's still on top of Ricochet, pins Ricochet. Ref goes for a double count. The gap between 2 to 3, you could like have your whole life between, and he still won't have hit the mat for 3 yet. Ricochet kicks out, which Ivar looks very confused. And then the ref finally counts 3. And then the Miz wins. And everyone looks absolutely confused. Except Miz. He just goes to the corner. Because apparently the original planned finish for the match was supposed to be a legitimate double pin. And that's why we're having the Miz-Ivar match. Granted, that was worked in with the way that the rest of this match fell out.
Yeah.
But the original plan from everything that I've been reading, was supposed to be a double pin. Ricochet was not supposed to kick out of that. So no one's quite sure if he just forgot, like, they were doing like the finish, or there was the spot earlier in the match when Bronson like volleys him off the ropes and he ends up hitting a Rana on Ivar, except he ends up coming a little short and just like thwacks the back of his head on the mat. So like no one's quite sure if like he legitimately, got his bell rung by the mat, or if he just forgot like the spot that they were doing or whatever.
I forgot.
Yeah, genuinely. Some mat-induced eye for gore. Yeah. Called a concussion, by the way. So no one's quite sure. It just seems like the original plan was supposed to be that double pin. Mm-hmm. So if all of this was on the fly and they just like went with it to still justify the match for next week, then hats off to everyone involved. Because Miz just starts getting his ass beat.
Yeah, he does.
And they start booing. They are booing someone beating up the Miz. Where are we?
Apparently, PA.
It's Miz country. I mean, it's right next to Ohio. He might as well be a hometown hero.
Yeah.
And then Miz eats a moonsault.
Yes. No, I thought it was a little weird there at the end, a little botched.
Yeah.
With, being able to live the rest of my life between 2 and 3.
So yeah, I have in my notes, I'm like, that finish seemed fucked.
Yeah.
Like something didn't feel right. Normally it's when the refs hesitate, you can tell. Because like refs are trained to count everything as like shoot. And like if you don't kick out, like it's not the ref's job to make sure you kick out. The ref's there to literally count the pin. If you don't kick out, that's your fault. The hesitation between 2 and 3, it's like something happened.
Oh no.
It's like, what do? Could hear the Lego Star Wars dying Yoda sound like in the back of his mind. We get the Alpha Academy backstage, which is Gable mostly just kind of consoling Tozawa. And he's kind of like, hey, you should probably just listen to me. Stay around the people of like your own size. Like maybe don't try and fight Bronson. Maybe don't try and fight Nakamura. Like start off a little lower on the pecking order.
Yeah.
And then Otis says that he'll get Nakamura next week. And then Tozawa starts doing his little dance again. And Otis, I just have him go, he's getting nasty, coach. I like that that's getting its time to breathe.
Yes.
As avid dancer Akira Tozawa. And then we also get another backstage segment. It is explaining, it's the pre-recorded segment of the Creeds and Ivy Nile signing their official contracts to be on Monday Night Raw. And they are welcomed by DIY, who basically just throw down an impromptu challenge. They accept. They're like, oh, if there was only someone here who could make the match official. And Pierce is like, well, I can do that.
Oh, I'm here.
I
exist, guys.
And then we have that match. And then going into this, I was like, DIY has been back for like 2 weeks. There's no way Triple H is going to book him to lose. And then they lost.
Sorry. Side note. I'm just imagining the in the corner at the party meme of Pierce. Just, they don't know I can officiate a match.
They don't know I can make this official.
Anyways, back to the
so I've got
tag match.
Few notes. The new DIY music, this is my first time hearing it, is some ass.
Yep.
I know that we can't have the old music anymore because WWE is trying to get rid of as many CFOs themes as possible. This is just not good. Like, it's very not good. There's no energy. It sounds like every other. I think they're still paired with Def Rebel right now. A lot of the themes sound the same. The cadences of like the vocals in this, it sounded like Austin Theory's theme for like a few things here and there, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Their gear is fire though.
Yeah, it is.
It looks real good. It just doesn't sound real good.
I mean, even the splash stuff that they have going up on the screens behind them is good too. It's just
they need new music.
Yeah, you need
they really
something.
Need new music. The crowd was not into this match at all.
No.
I mean, there were a few spots that like got some claps, some cheers, but overall, you could hear a pin drop for most of the match. So, I mean, DIY, they just came back. Ciampa wasn't really doing anything. Johnny's been gone for months. And the Creeds, if you don't watch NXT, you don't have a reason to care about them. So, maybe putting them in there with a tag team that has like more heat going into it. Like if this could have been like New Day versus the Creeds, that could have been cool because people care about the New Day, and that you could still do all this fun stuff.
Yep.
But if you put them in there with, I know who DIY is because I'm a sweaty mark. Not everyone who's watching is going to know who DIY is.
I know who DIY is because you're my friend.
Exactly.
No, I do genuinely like DIY.
So, hopefully it's just once they get some repetitions in, they get a little more exposure on the main roster. But this was not a good way to introduce. I mean, this isn't the first Creeds match on main roster either, because that also happened last week, I think. Yeah,
that happened last week. Still just not a great, can't say first showing, but I guess jumping off point for them.
Yeah, they're not really getting out of the blocks. Brutus kind of looks like Theo Von. Do you know who that is? Like, who does he remind me of? I'm like, oh. Not a whole lot of notes on this one. There was a Poison Rana that Johnny did to Julius that I was like, that's it, he's dead. And I thought for sure that was going to be the end of the match. They were going to do like the kick and the knee and no. Because Ludwig Kaiser comes in, like a sneak attack, I guess, on Gargano, and then the Creed brothers win.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that 2 weeks into DIY being back together on main roster, we would have them lose to the Creed brothers.
What a weird sentence.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're getting DIY still feuding with Imperium. Because I guess Ciampa still has some beef sort of grievance with Gunther.
Yeah.
Despite getting beat within an inch of his life. If it were me personally and someone did that to me, I would never want to see them again. But we'll see. I mean, that'll be a good match. Not that, like, Imperium has a... Well, Gunther's in, like, his own kind of realm right now. But Imperium as, like, the tag team unit. They're good, but again, like, the crowd reactions, like, they're not the most over team. So, I don't know. I'm selfish. I want to see DIY succeed. And I know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks isn't that long of a time in the grand scheme of things, but we're not starting well.
No.
This is what they did with Candice LeRae. They brought her up. She has lost a lot. Now no one cares about Candice LeRae. So we're going to do the same thing to her husband. What's next? They show an Elimination Chamber recap back from February when Sammy had his match against Roman. And they did it just so they could show the whole, like, him not winning because of, like, bloodline shenanigans or whatever. Just so they could show Sammy in the locker room and have Jay come in and be like, man, I'm real sorry about that. And that's it. That's the whole reason that happened. But Jay kind of serves as Sammy's hype man. He says yeet. And then yeet. And then before he can leave, Sammy's like, oh, hey, how did your talk with Adam go? And he's like, oh, cool. Turns out he and Cody have their rematch with the Judgment Day next week for the tag titles. And I'm kind of curious if there's any tickets for that Raw left. I'll have to see what I work next Monday. I'm pretty sure I scheduled myself to open because they're in DC.
Yeah.
So I might swing on down there if I can.
Like catch that one live if you can.
I might. We'll see. Because, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff announced for next week. And we've got a Becky interview. She's basically just getting asked about, the Battle Royal and yada, 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 yada. Becky's not able to answer too many things before the interviewer is like, turn around. And then it's Nia. And then Becky absolutely lights Nia up verbally. Nia is just saying that she's kind of doing the female Big Show thing of like, I'm bigger than everyone in this match. There's no way I can get eliminated. And they get eliminated. She's like, and that'll make me the happiest I've been since I broke your face. And Becky's like, it's really funny because after that happened, I went on to main event and win at WrestleMania, and you went on to be fired. She's like, glad to have you back. Walks away. Like, oh. She ate. And then Byron also catches up with Chelsea and Piper. We are getting one last interview before the next match starts. And that's basically all it boils down to. It's Chelsea and Piper. They get interrupted by Zoey and Shayna. That's pretty much it. Chelsea looks to Piper for help. Piper's like, well, it's every person on their own out there. And then even Shayna and Zoey are like, oh, it's every person out there. I was like, okay, we get it. It's a battle royal. That's how they work.
We get it. These people have connections, but it's still going to be one last person there.
So I thought this was kind of weird, the start of the battle royal. The whole like Zaya Becky thing.
Yeah, that was odd. I didn't understand that. They were both supposed to be in it, right?
Yeah. Like they were advertised for it and everything, and then they're like, psych.
Nah.
We were never going to let them in there.
Yeah, I guess they're really just trying to push some feud with Zaya and Becky to get Zaya some more exposure.
Like that's been the plan for a while, is like Becky and Zaya working together, but like, did they have to do it this way? Why not have them have some sort of meaningful encounter
in the ring,
in the battle royal?
Yeah.
Why jump Becky before the bell and then not even let her be in the match, and then they just kick Zaya out, even though this happens all the time.
Yeah.
These sorts of things, and nothing ever happens.
Yeah,
It was just
I don't
weird.
get it. It would make a lot more sense to have some shit go on during the match. One of the notable spots being some offense between the two of them.
Like the spot that happened towards the end of the match where they eliminate Nia and Ivy is still on the apron, and then Nia just yoinks Ivy off.
Yeah.
You can do something like that, but instead of Nia being eliminated, just have someone like get the better of Xia while her and Becky are on the apron. And then you have Xia just yoink Becky off the apron. Congratulations. There's the feud. Becky was in the match.
You've done the same thing, and you've allowed both of them to actually...
We have accomplished the same goal and used the means of the match to set it up.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I will say that would have at least made the match feel a little bit more worth it.
Mm. I actually really liked the Battle Royal. I felt like they got a ton of time, which Battle Royals normally don't, especially like women's Battle Royals. It felt like they actually gave this a healthy amount of time and let it breathe. And then even when it got down to the final few women, it felt more and more like, okay, fatal 4-way, triple threat, and now like one-on-one and stuff like that. And even towards the finish. But
yeah, I'm not downing the match because it was good. I enjoyed it. I did appreciate the time that it got. It was more so just to jump ahead a little bit. It just kind of felt like, we're just kind of pushing these same 4 competitors towards the belt. Like they didn't switch it up at all, really. Like I mean, I guess you can say Ivy was there for
they
like 5 seconds.
A lot.
They
in
did
this match. I'm very curious to see where Ivy Nile lands on the main roster, because it looks like they have big plans for her.
Yes, considering the spots she got in this match.
I mean, she eliminated Natalya. That's all you need.
Yeah.
She has the Guinness, she's got 3 Guinness World Records.
That's why she had a vignette. So they can talk about the Guinness World Records, man.
It all comes back. But no, the bell rings, everyone gangs up on Nia. It's normally how these types of things go.
Good.
Nikki doesn't move.
No.
She just kind of stands there. She's gone catatonic as of late, it seems. And it's what Raquel and Nia have like a standoff, and you see like Nikki's head just slow like at the bottom of the frame, and they kind of just like hoist her up, throw her over. She flips over the ropes and just stands back up and just like still doesn't move at all.
And yeah, apparently she goes over to just stare through. It was right there in my head. One of the commentators.
Yeah, I have that. I'm like, what is it? Nikki gets thrown over the ropes, just kind of gets up and stands there. Cole gives updates periodically.
Yeah. Or just kind of standing there in front of the commentator's table, apparently.
So, not sure what that's about, but...
So, to aside to that a little bit, if that's okay, they're going to just have her snap at some point, right? Or something's just going to finally click, and then she's going to go back to being sane Nikki or something.
I just hope that the rumors of them bringing Insanity back, or Sanity, they were just called Sanity. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. I miss them.
Yeah, because like, it's funny, haha. Nikki Cross just staring, not moving. But I feel like that's something that's gonna wear out its course a lot quicker. Then hopefully, hopefully they don't.
It's not really doing anything for the character. Instead of like, we're making lateral moves.
Yeah,
like we're freshening her up, but it's not doing anything for her. So hopefully this pays off to something grander. Like you said, she'll just snap and just like lose it on someone.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of other good spots, like we said. Ivy gets the elimination on Natty, which is the most important one to get if if you'd believe commentary. So the
those Guinness World Records.
The final 4, technically, are Zoey, Shayna, Raquel, and Ivy, with, again, Nia just yoinking Ivy straight off the apron. So she was never really part of the final 4, so it immediately just goes down to 3.
Yeah, which is what I mean by, like, it kind of just felt like the same 4, because since Ivy got eliminated right after Nia did, it kind of just felt like,
yeah.
Well, Ivy was just there for Nia to get an elimination right after she got eliminated.
It's like, cool, all the people that are still around in this match right now are the ones that Rhea just beat on Saturday.
Yeah, like, cool. Which is what I mean. Cool. Which is what I mean. Don't get me wrong; they're all very strong competitors. They are being booked as probably the top end of the women's division right now. But switch it up a little bit. One person who sticks around for a little bit. They were already booking Ivy pretty strong throughout the match. Like, you know, have Nia try to pull her off just to, you know, do the Nia thing, but then she catches herself and pulls herself back in and has a little bit of good offense again in the match. So it doesn't immediately just feel like she was just there as a piece for Nia to leave one last mark on the match. Sorry. That was my beef with that. Everything else about the match, I really enjoyed.
But, so it's those 3. They get Raquel over the rope. She, like, dangles for a bit, and they're just, like, smacking her hands, like, trying to get her to release her grip on the ropes. And she does. And then it's down to those 2. And Zoey ends up winning, which I thought was very strange. I'm not mad about it, but I thought between Zoey and Shayna, I was like, oh, Shayna's got this.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I was very wrong.
We both were. We both were. Because I really thought, you know, okay, cool. Be neat if Zoey won, but I doubt she will. Shayna's there. She's Shayna.
Yeah. Nope. Said Shayna eats a DDT on the apron and her little Force Ghost floats out of her body. And Zoey wins. Which, like I said, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I think, because we, during like the Becky, Zoey, Trish thing or whatever, we kind of had the consensus of like, well, the person that's come out of this the most is Zoey. And then there was like that couple of weeks where we're like, where's Zoey? So it's cool to see that she's back and in a very prevalent spot for the time being. This feels more of just like a sink or swim type deal of like, you've been like in that echelon of the upper card. Now we're going to put you in and see like how you fare.
Yeah.
Her character's getting a little bit better. The little like just shouting she did at the camera after she won, like, was probably like the best Zoey Stark promo I've heard. And that was just like 15 seconds. So I'm like, just channel that and you've got like a brand new like main event talent for the women's division. We go backstage and it's Rhea getting interviewed about what just happened. And Zoey's the fastest person on earth because like she's there.
Not even out of breath either. Fresh out the match. Just right there.
The long and the short of it is Zoey basically tells Rhea to keep the title warm for her.
Yep.
Rhea's not losing.
Absolutely
not for a while. I don't think Rhea's going to drop it before WrestleMania, if then.
I don't think so. No, I doubt it. The only thing I could see happening, which I highly doubt they would do, is she loses it and then immediately regains it from somebody else.
Yeah, they did that with the tag belts and the
but
the U.S. Championship.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll just run that back again so soon after having other belts do the same thing, especially belts tied to the Judgment Day. So yeah, I don't really see it happening before WrestleMania.
But super gassed up for Zoey. A lot of people online I see that like all she needs is like a mouthpiece and she'll be like good to go. Mm-hmm. But I think it's there. I think she just needs to find it. She's not like one of those people that it's like, oh, she's like years away from like learning how to talk on the mic. It's like she's got spurts here and there. It's like she just needs to find that rather than like relying on like a Paul Heyman or something like that.
Yeah, I would agree entirely. The spot that they had in that little backstage segment with the two of them, it really kind of felt like she was starting to get it a bit, you know, calling back to specific moves that she hit on Rhea during the Fatal 5-Way match that they had. Mm-hmm. You know, like you said, those 15 seconds best Zoey Stark promo.
Yeah. Which I guess it kind of goes back to the a lot of people's biggest gripe with NXT Black and Gold when Triple H was running it was the lack of distinct character. And it was just like, I'm here, I'm a badass. And then like person B is like, I'm also here, I am also a badass. And it's just like all these people with very like macho, machismo sort of personalities that just like to fight each other. And it feels like that's starting to slip a little into the main roster, but there's so much character diversity that like you can have Rhea and, you know, Zoey or like all these other people that kind of fit the same archetype, but they're so different and there's so much more like depth to the women's roster, like character wise, that it doesn't stick out as much.
Yeah.
At least I don't think it does.
I don't think it does because, you know, what with them having diverse characters between each other, it allows them to interact differently. You might have 3 or 4 people who all fit that kind of, oh, I'm a total badass thing. But if they themselves, just their character personality is so far separated other than that one singular point that they share, it's going to give plenty of, you know, unique interactions that you get.
Yeah. Like for every Zoey Stark, you also get a Chelsea Green, or for every Rhea Ripley, you also get Maxine Dupree. Like it just works.
Yeah.
All right, we got some match cards to go over some stuff that is happening next week in Washington, D.C. So Miz and Ivar have their match. Not sure if there's going to be a stipulation added to it to kind of like, well, the winner of this will actually go on to face Gunther because of like the shenanigans that happened last week. Because I think that was supposed to be like the original plan.
Yeah.
We're also getting Tegan and Piper, Otis and Nakamura, and that tag title match. I really want to see if there's tickets available for that show still. I might have to check later. And then we finally get our main event. So we got Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn in the match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was just enjoyable. I mean, it's a match with Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn. How bad is it really going to be? Like at the end of the day, even on like a TV match with commercials, how bad is it really going to be? Funnily enough, though, I don't have a whole lot of notes for this one. I was just kind of watching it.
Yeah, same here. I only have like 2 notable things other than just, you know, making a mild note about the ending.
So there was the near fall with the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah.
And then Sammy gets him in a lion tamer and then a Boston Crab. And like the thought crept into my mind of like, so if Sammy wins, like, does Damian cash in? Because then like Sammy can't stop the cash in if it's on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no. And then Seth just rolled him up, got him in a pinning combination and like won. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
Okay. But like for a split second, I believed that Sammy might
sweating.
actually do it, and then they might do the cash in angle. Like, oh. But I mean, overall, I really liked it.
Yeah. That recovery I had mentioned earlier was in this match. Sammy had did it. Seth was out of the ring, and Sammy went to kind of just do like a dive out of the ring onto him, but he moved out of the way, and Sammy was able to recognize that, kind of bounced back onto the top rope, did a backflip, and landed on his feet.
Let's go.
That was neat.
But kind of, as we touched on at the beginning of the show, this felt more of like a vessel to set up WarGames rather than have a convincing World Heavyweight Championship match between these two. Because, like we already said, they shake hands, go up the ramp, beat down, and then just eventually the good guys start funneling out to even up the odds. We get WarGames. Which I'm still so excited for.
Same here.
That's the one thing I look forward to with Survivor Series all the time. Because obviously, like, Mania is Mania. The Rumble's the greatest pay-per-view of the year.
Absolutely.
I don't care what anyone says. Royal Rumble's goated. It clears Mania any day of the week. SummerSlam's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Survivor Series was just kind of there for a while. But ever since they've started incorporating WarGames, it felt like it has like a new identity.
Big Cage go Burr.
Big Cage go Burr. Absolutely. So yeah, I haven't thought at all about like who else the possible good guy or heel could be, because I don't think they'll keep it 4-on-4.
No, I don't see it. At least I hope not.
No, it's got to be 5. I mean, good guys, you got KO.
You got KO.
You got KO.
I feel like that's probably the most likely person for them, especially because next week you can have a little spot of him and Sammy talking in the back, being like, "Yeah, I'll be there." Da 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 da.
Well, KO's on SmackDown because he was the draft pick for Cody.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So it turns out it's Kevin Owens.
Oh, I missed that. It could still be him.
Yeah, it could still be him.
There's no reason
Judgment
they
Day
can't
seems to not have any issues turning up on whichever show they want. I mean, they have the tag belts, so like they kind of can, but
yeah,
that means KO can get involved.
I mean, if it could be anybody,
I just don't know who else it like could be.
fuck it, LA Knight.
That'd be huge. I don't know what he has to do with the Judgment Day, but
oh well, that's because the Judgment Day is going to call on the Bloodline again, and they're going to get a 5th person for the Bloodline. Solo's going to be there, and the LA Knight's going to be like, "Nah, if he's going to be there, I'm going to be there. I got beef with them to settle."
If only. If only.
And make it even better. Make it Jimmy.
Do you think there's a chance that the good guy is Drew, and that's where his turn happens?
I could see that. I could see that, actually. Yeah. Because I was thinking, oh, surprise, surprise, Drew will have a turn next week or something, and that'll lead up to it. But no, that's a good point.
Because, like, Seth pointed out that, like, one of the reasons he thanked Drew was because, he was a man of his word. It turns out he wasn't in, cahoots with the Judgment Day, and they just had a clean match, like, front to back and until like the cash in happened and stuff, but that's not part of the match.
Yeah.
It's gotta be soon, right? I feel like we say this every week. It's gotta be soon, right?
Before the end of the year.
Oh, it better be. I feel like you gotta have it at a big match on like something important.
Yeah.
I feel like
WarGames match
Survivor Series,
might be a good place.
Very good stage for a right bastard turn.
Here's hoping, man.
Fuck it, have Seth be like the last good guy or whatever, or I guess he and Drew punts Seth or something. I don't know, does something.
Just toss him across both rings,
and then we run back Drew and Seth at the Rumble, and Drew wins it. I don't know, something.
How funny that would be.
You heard it here first.
Oh yeah, Drew, welcome to the Judgment Day. You have a match with Seth. Oh, you won that match. Damian Priest just kind of over in the corner staring at the case. Why do I have this?
It's like all the memes with the Triple H, like the turning around because it's like the Judgment Day music or whatever. Yeah. Drew McIntyre after joining the Judgment Day. The dun 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 dun. It's like, fuck. We were this close. But no, I'll definitely have to like keep thinking of things because we've still got a little bit of time before we shoot predictions. I just hope they don't leave it like up in the air, like neither fifth man is confirmed until the show.
I'd be cool with one side having that. It's just like surprise entrant on one side, but I definitely wouldn't want that for both sides. Be nice to have, know exactly what one party's bringing at the very least.
If they leave anything vacant on that show, people are going to assume it's CM Punk.
Never mind. Don't leave anything vacant, please.
Please, nothing vacant. Don't want him.
Keep your Beppis, man.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought the episode was pretty good. It was a fairly enjoyable way to get back into watching the weekly programming. I'll have to set NXT to record here soon, just because I like watching NXT. We don't really talk about it a whole lot. It's just a fun way to spend a couple hours. But yeah, this was weird. It's been a couple weeks, so we're kind of out of the groove of things. So things might have been a little clunky. But we're gonna try and get back into it. We're gonna try and get more regular content and not like the reviews or whatever. So for anyone that's been following or like is sad we just kind of dropped off, don't worry, your favorite L channel is back. We never left. We did for a bit, but yeah, as always, if you made it to this point, thank you for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Give us a like, leave us a comment. What was your favorite part of Raw tonight? Was there anything that we didn't touch on enough? Was there anything we got wrong? Just feel free to turn it into an open forum. Just kind of list everything down there for us. Help us out in the algorithm a little.
Yeah.
But, as always, we've been the Sheer Drop Wrestling team, signing off. I know you're a big proponent of the WarGames match.
No, it's terrible. Worst match ever, dude. Awful.